好，欢迎来到大巴 and Tales， 我是主持人笑笑。今天呢，我们来到了亚洲之家的总部，我们很荣幸的邀请到了 Amadeo Jensana 先生，他是经济和商业部门的负责人。今天呢，他会和我们一起分享一下关于中西之间商业交流和文化的一些想法和思考。好，欢迎他 ，Welcome。So first of all, can you give us an overview of the role Casa Asia plays between Spain and Asia, and what kind of impact has this organization had for this collaboration?
Okay, just first of all, thank you very much for having me in this interview. Actually, Casa Asia is an institution of public diplomacy. What we do is actually to foster cooperative projects between Spain and Asia in many fields, not only in business, but also we have a department for culture, for education. So we have an integral approach to Asia. The institution was created 22 years ago, and actually in the economic department, of course, what we do is actually to foster, relations with companies and also between cities. I think it's very important. We have the City Hall of Barcelona and the City Hall of Madrid as a part of our consortium, and what we do is to work in many fields, like tourism, for instance, as I said before, city-to-city cooperation, also in e-commerce, also fostering actually Chinese companies investing in Spain.
Yeah.
So I think that we have done a huge work here with China, especially. I think that China is maybe just 40% of our work is related to China, so it's a very important country to us. And we have developed a network of contacts between both countries that I think is pretty relevant both for China and also for Spain.
Yeah. So for me, I've been here for many years, and for this almost 4 or 5 years, I know Casa Asia for a long time. And mostly I know this because of the cultural activities and like the Asian movie festival they are holding. So I'm curious about this department of the economic and business department, what actually they are really doing and how they help to foster the collaboration between China and Spain.
Well, I think that culture is very important, but we have a very strong economic department also in Casa Asia, because there's not a natural trend from Spanish companies to go to Asia. Usually they go to other places like Latin America, and actually, the relationship between Spain and Latin America is more natural. So at Casa Asia, actually we want also Spanish companies to foster business with China, completely. So, but they need help. They need help in terms of programs that we are actually doing. So that from the very beginning we had, as I said before, a strong interest, and we have a lot of progress. We are working, of course. We have, for instance, programs for cross-cultural business, so that we help Spanish businessmen actually to get familiar with the Chinese market. We have also programs for tourism, actually in order to help here all the shops, restaurants, etc., to deal with Chinese clients. We are also actually participating in European programs that deals with China and city-to-city cooperation, for instance, in sustainable development and smart cities. And also we organize programs about the legal system in China, how the Spanish companies can invest. So we have a really good array of programs.
For the neutral countries, not only Chinese come here, but also Spanish go to China.
That's right. We work in both directions. We work helping Spanish companies go into Chinese market, but also we are helping actually Chinese companies to invest in Spain. So we work in both directions.
Yeah, fantastic. And also before you mentioned there are like 40% of the tax you are working is related to China, right? So can you give me some examples of how specifically you are doing? For example, a Chinese company, he wants to come to Spain, and what kind of projects you can help them to do, and what exact task you can provide for them?
Okay. Well, basically in this case, we can give a general overview of Spain, which are actually the best places to go. But also we have programs, for instance, a very interesting one for Spanish companies that actually are willing to work with online platforms in China. I know JD, for instance, or Tmall, for instance. So we work with consultant companies actually to help Spanish companies to work, and how do they have to behave just to work in those platforms.
Yeah.
Those are some examples, but we have many other examples.
Yeah, I know, like cultural things is very important when it comes to the business. Because for me, I know some Chinese employees, not only employees but the boss, when they start to do the business in Spain, they find out that a very important question or problem they face is the employees. They can't conquer their cultural differences. So in the daily life or work, they will face misunderstanding or some lack of efficiency in the work. So I think, yeah, this is really important.
Yeah, actually we have also a very important program at our webpage actually for Spanish companies or for Chinese companies willing to seek employees.
Really?
So that
Seek employees?
Yes, that's right. We provide actually this service, and it's very useful. And we put in touch actually the companies with the potential employees, and that's it's working very well. It's been working very well for years, and I think it's very important because at the end it's a problem of human resources. If you get the right human resources, probably your project will succeed.
Yeah,
and if you don't find the right human resources, actually a project will fail. So we're working very much on that, in that field.
Yeah, good. And for me, I see your profile and you speak Chinese, Spanish, and Catalan fluently. So you've been working very close with China for many years. As a language and cultural perspective, what are the key factors that influence the success of business, do you think?
Well, actually, I started working with China in year 1996.
1996?
That's right. That's more than almost 30
even
years ago.
before.
That's right. Yes, much older than you. That's the reason. And at that time, things were very, very different. Were completely different. With two words. Now I think we're not that far. So we have been just getting closer.
Yeah.
But still, actually knowing the environment and knowing how actually people take decisions is very important. So it's not only about contracts or about just margins or about very pure numbers. It's also how people behave. And I think it's very important to stress that and to try to link the people.
Yeah.
Because with China, one thing that we have learned all over the years is that if we have a strong personal link, then things are very easy. At the very beginning, it's not easy to get that. It takes time, so it's not a very straightforward process.
Yeah.
But once you've get to, all the parts involved, to know each other, then things go very smooth. So that's also one of our jobs, to try to foster this kind of personal contact between people. Between businessmen also, but between delegates from different cities, between governments, government to government. And now, for instance, the president of the government of Spain has been traveling to China very extensively, 3 times in 2 years. That's a lot. But it means that actually for Spain, China now is very important, and we have the mandate.
So China is opening the visa-free for 30 days for Spanish.
Oh yes.
Really a long time.
It was one of the first countries, to be chosen for this visa-free process, and I think it's a proof that actually, the relationship now is really good. Not only at government level, national government, but also in terms of city to city. We receive a lot of delegations, especially Barcelona, for instance, has a long-standing relationship with Shanghai, also with Shenzhen.
These two cities. And also Beijing.
With Beijing, yes. And at this city-to-city level, also there's a strong interest in sharing experiences, good practices, and of course, we also have very good relationship between the port of Barcelona and different ports like Ningbo, for instance, in China, and that's important. That we have relationships at the very different levels. Of course, the personal level, cultural level, business level, city-to-city level.
All levels,
At all levels, because it's not only one thing. It's just to try to have a good environment to work.
So I'm curious do you think this change, now Spain and China, they're really close, all the time, or like in these recent years, this start to be more closer than before?
Actually, from the perspective of the European Union, there are countries closer to China and countries not that close to China. It depends. For instance, Germany is very close to China because there are strong economic ties. And but Spain has been usually very close to China in terms of the European Union. As you may know, actually things are not always easy, and there are difficulties. But basically, this relationship started a long time ago. So and it's a cumulative process. So it's an ongoing process. But I think that now we have a very good relationship, and also, well, there are a lot of opportunities. And China is also getting closer. It's getting more and more interested in Spain. So now we're in a very good moment.
Our podcast is called Tapas and Tales, and also we have the association called Ocvistas. It means Vista de Occidente. Okay. So we also see like this the interaction and collaboration between Spain and China, and not only Spain but also like Europe. So it's like joined together. So for me, I see like before, maybe years before, the Chinese people, they start the business here are like bazaar or like local restaurant like this. But now it has more this overseas expansion of the Chinese companies, and they go abroad to Spain and start their business from China and then here, like Pop Mart. Do you know this brand? Yeah, and we see a lot of this. So we think now is the time that China and Spain, they have more collaboration, and in the future we'll have even more bigger or further collaboration too. Yeah, okay. So, well, the next question is about the industry trends and collaboration potential. Because like I mentioned for the expansion overseas, so in which industries do you think that in the future will be more potential for the Chinese companies?
Yes, actually it has evolved over the years. The first companies expanding to China, when they're at the beginning of the 90s, they were basically industrial companies that were actually taking profit of the low salaries in China, but now it's not the case. The landscape has changed completely. So we see more and more companies trying to sell into the Chinese market now, especially online, but not only online. And also the companies that have been there for many years, for 20 or 30 years, they are still there in the Chinese market. And also regarding Chinese investment here, actually we've seen actually progress also. And now we have many projects in two fields. One of them is related to sustainable mobility, cars, electric batteries, etc.
Very important topic.
Very important, that's right. And there are just many companies willing to invest here. And also the second sector is renewable energies. Solar energy, hydrogen, for instance, the production of hydrogen is very important. Why is it important? Because in Spain we are very strong in renewable energies. Due to the environmental conditions, Spain is the second country in Europe after Germany of capacity for renewable energies. And that's very attractive for Chinese companies because China has a very strong it has very strong companies in the fields of renewables, and they want to invest in Europe. And I think that Spain is a very good destination. So, as I said before, actually the landscape is evolving, and now I think that the best opportunity is in the field of sustainability.
Sustainability. So the final question is about for the future, because now many Chinese students, they start to learn in Spain, and also from the Spanish students, they go to China to study. So what kind of talent you think we need to foster this kind of collaboration between these two countries?
Well, actually the young generation is the present and the future. Not only the future, but also the present. And I think that when we started working with China, I think 30 years ago, there was not actually people who could act as a bridge between both countries. And actually this is the kind of talent that we need. People that understand both cultures, people with an entrepreneurial capacity, willing to start new projects, because there are a lot of opportunities, both in China and Spain. And I think that the new generation plays really a key role here. So we need more and more people willing to act or to work as a bridge between Spain and China, and I think that's a fact, and I'm very happy to see that actually there are so many young people now that is approaching also Casa Asia with new projects, with new ideas. They say, okay, I want to start a startup in China, for instance, and could you just please give me some advice? We're very happy when we see those kind of projects, or Chinese entrepreneurs, just expanding their business now into new fields that we didn't have before. And I think that's very creative, and that's the future.
Because we all see this in our future, and we think it's very potential, and we are willing to do this. It's like all of us here, we have this interest, and it's our passion to do these things. So, and also I'm really glad that you can come here and get the interview with us. I'm really happy that you answer many very useful questions and give us this information. So thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you, Dee. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. Okay, so
bye.